Good afternoon, viewer, and welcome to Eswatini TV, a teleeducation program called Home Study. As most know, a collaboration between the Ministry of Education and Training and Eswatini TV. Good afternoon, Nogwazi, all the way there. How are you?
All the way from here, I'm doing really well, not really well. Good afternoon to the viewers. Good afternoon, Lerato. I'm not okay. I had a bit of a fall yesterday and I hurt my knee. It hurts a whole lot, but hey, we must soldier on.
Okay. Viewer, you heard that. A sincere apology to my colleague Nogwazi, and I hope that will not stop you from having the energy that you usually have.
I always have a lot of energy and I'm always ready to learn, Lerato. With that said, Lerato, please remind our viewers about today's timetable.
So, grade 7s, from 3s and from 5s, I hope that you are ready for today's timetable. Nogwazi, please tell us today's timetable, unfortunately.
Alright, okay. Lerato has just put me on the spot actually. Today's timetable looks like this. We have religious education for grade 7 from now until 2:30 p.m. Then we have Eswatini for from 2:30 p.m. until 3:08 p.m. Then we have English language for Form 3 from 3:08 p.m. until 3:45 p.m. Then we have English language for Form 5 from 3:45 p.m. to 4:25 p.m. And lastly, we have religious education for Form 5 from 4:25 p.m. to 5 p.m. That will be the last lesson for the day. Lerato, please remind us about our social media platforms.
Dear viewer, don't forget that we have YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. YouTube and Facebook, where we're live from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we have a WhatsApp number which pops up from time to time as we're learning, as you can see it on the screen.
Yes, and just to remind our viewers that please text us, do not call us. Text us any questions that you might have on the subject that is being taught. With that said, up next is the religious education teacher, Mr. Mangoba Mkonda, who will be with Lerato in just a bit. We'll be right back after this.
Kumelula ukuthi ligciwane lecorona lisuke kulomunye lingene kulomunye uma sitawusonzelana. Singasita sinciphise kuanza kwalo ngekuthi sikhweshelane. Lokhu kusho ukuthi singachawulani, singathinzani njengokuhagana nje. Tikhweshise ngesigaba lesiyimitha kusuka kulabanye. Kumcoka kakhulu kuhlala uhlobile nekuthi hlobisa uma uke waphumela kubantu. Ngiyakubambisana sitakumisa kwanza kwaleli gciwane sibe ngulabaphilile. Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane lecorona.
Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Hand washing is one of the best ways to keep from getting sick and staying healthy all the year long.
Welcome, grade 7s. I am still your host, Lerato Mabilisa, and with me in studio are our sign language interpreters, Tobile Fagute and Linda Mamba, and of course our teacher, Mangoba Mkonda. So, grade 7s, we're back with a bang. Good afternoon, sir, and how are you feeling today?
Good afternoon, Lerato. I'm feeling well, and how are you?
Good. So today's topic is about Noah and the flood. What would you like the viewer at home to have learned by the end of the lesson?
Yes, Lerato, our today's lesson is Noah and the flood. Then at home, I'd like you to prepare yourself for our today's lesson. I'd like you to have a pen or a pencil, something to write on, be it an exercise book or a piece of paper, ruler, and you must have your full attention as well on your screen. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So, grade 7s, you heard that. I hope you have all the necessary equipment. So, without wasting time, please take the learner through.
Okay, thank you so much, Lerato. Good afternoon, Lena Tom. I am Mr. Mkonda. I'll be taking you for RE education. Our today's lesson is Noah and the flood. If you may go back a bit on our previous lesson, I'd like us to take a look on what our today's lesson objectives are. We are going to describe during the flood during Noah's time, state the causes of the flood during Noah's time. Thereafter, describe the characters of Noah, the people and the animals. State the lessons and the teaching learned in the story of Noah and the flood. Then I told these are the 4 objectives that we must master, or at least master, at the end of this lesson. Then I told, okay, let us go back to Lerato a bit.
I'm sorry, sir. I know we've just started the lesson, but there's a technical difficulty. So can we take a quick commercial break and we'll be back?
Okay.
Wash your hands with soap and running water frequently to prevent COVID-19.
Avoid touching eyes, nose, mouth, shaking hands to prevent COVID-19.
Are you coughing? Are you sneezing or having headache? Make sure that you quickly go to the hospital. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona.
Labanengi labangenwa ligciwane lecorona bavame kuba netimpawu letingasito letimatima njengebuhlungu bemphimbo, kuphathwa inhloko, kushisa nekubanza, kukhwehlela lokomile, kuphefumula kalukhuni kanye nekudzinwa. Kepha kulabanye kuba matima njengoba leli gciwane lihlasela emaphaphu. Ngesikhathi umtimba ulwa nalo leli gciwane wakheka emanti lagcwala emaphashini. Emaphaphu-ke angagcwala emanti akuphefumuleki. Lokhu-ke kubanga tingcinamba letinengi. Kuthi khweshisa kulabanye kuyasita ekunciphiseni kwanza kwesifo i-COVID-19. Hlala ekhaya ungahambi. Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane lecorona.
Ligciwane lecorona lincane kakhulu, angeke ulibone ngemehlo enyama. Kuze liphile lidinga kunamathela kubantu. Leli gciwane lingena melula emphumulweni, emlonyeni kanye nasemehlweni. Ligciwane lecorona alikhethi. Lingesuka kithi thine bantfwana liye kubatali kanye nabothishela. Lisengesuka kubo litekithi. Indlela yekulimisa leli gciwane kulivimba kuthi lisuke kulomunye liye kulomunye. Uma umuntu athimula noma akhwehlela, leli gciwane lihamba kanye nalamathonsi laphuma kuloyo muntu.
Welcome back, viewer. We are still learning religious education with Mr. Mangomba. Sir, please continue with the lesson.
Okay, thank you, Lerato. Welcome back, Lena Tom. Before that technical glitch, I want us to continue with our lesson. If I may have, if I may highlight that our today's objectives are to describe the flood during Noah's time, state the causes of the flood during Noah's time, describe the characters of Noah, the people and the animals. Last objective, learn at home, state the lessons and teaching learned in the story of Noah and the flood. But before that, learn at home, I would like us to go back to our previous lesson on what we were learning, or before that, I want us to look at the prior knowledge which you must have before this lesson. Probably you have seen or read about floods, natural disasters, if I may call it that. Floods happening probably in neighboring countries or any other country that you might seen on the news, on television, or read about on the newspaper. This is a natural disaster which has destructions. But before that, I want you to have the knowledge that we have seen how sin came to earth. The first people committing sin, what were their punishments? This is the knowledge which you must have in mind before or coming to this lesson. Before that, or maybe let us continue, we are going to try to attempt to define the key words in our today's lesson, learn at home. The first keyword is consequence, followed by corruption, covenant, flood, violence, in their alphabetical order. Let us move on, learn at home. What does consequence mean? Consequence means the result of something that has happened, the outcome of something that has happened or something that we have done. Next, or if I may go back a bit, the second word is bad behavior, dishonest, immoral behavior, and the likes. That is the second key word in this lesson. The third word, learn at home, is promise between God and his people. What is that? We call that a covenant. We call that a covenant. Someone might call it a promise, a pact, or a contract. But in religious education, we call it a covenant, an agreement between God and his people. The next objective is flood. What is a flood? Learn at home. A flood is when a lot of water suddenly washes into an area that is not usually under water. Now, what can a flood do, learn at home? A flood can wash away people, cars, and animals. Not just any flood whereby maybe you are pouring water after washing dishes and all the likes. Flood, a lot of water covering almost the entire surface of the earth. Areas, trees, homes, mountains, all covered in water. Imagine that, learn at home. Imagine such a natural disaster. We are going to look at how the flood happened during Noah's time and what were the causes of this flood. Moving on, our last word is violence. Violence is a behavior that is intended to hurt or kill somebody. Brutality, if you may call it that. I hope you are following, learn at home. These are the important keywords that you must master at the end or during the lesson of this, during the course of this lesson. Let us move on now. What is the importance of our today's lesson? Why are we learning this type of lesson in our today's lesson? Learn at home. If you answer a why question, you will have a reason on why you are doing or you are learning that particular lesson. Now, this lesson is going to attempt to introduce you, learn at home, to life outside the Garden of Eden and also help you, okay, here I've used him or her, referring to you, to understand more about the consequences of sin. You remember in our previous lessons we have learned about God creating human beings, placing them in the Garden of Eden and chasing them out of the Garden of Eden after they went against his commandments. So this lesson is bringing us to the aspect of how their life they lived outside the Garden of Eden And what happened outside the Garden of Eden? People now have multiplied because God had commanded them to give birth, multiply, and subdue the earth. Now people are amongst the earth, they are living. There are many human beings living outside the Garden of Eden and across the earth. Now, moving on. Okay, in our previous lesson, we have looked who were the first people to sin. It was Adam and Eve, if you may recall. What did they do? They disobeyed God's command of eating from the tree of knowledge and understanding. Now, what was their outcome? God punished them and kicked them out of the Garden of Eden. Now, Lena at home, our today's lesson, we are going to learn about the destruction of life by God during Noah's time. That is our main lesson. Let us move on. First, I want us to look at what happened before the flood. Before the flood occurred. Genesis 6, because Lena Tom will recall everything that we do here in religious education, we are taking it from the Bible. Now, Genesis 6 tells us that verse 9, these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God, and Noah had 3 sons by the name of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. This is his family. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight. The earth was filled with violence. You remember we did define the key words. Here we have corrupt and we have violence, meaning doing a bad behavior, corrupt, violence, killing or harming someone. Now God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way upon the earth. Where am I taking this? All this is written in the Bible. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end to all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Which earth, Lena at home? The very same earth that God had created. The very same earth that God had seen good. Let us move on. Now, make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Who should make the ark? It is Noah. Not a boat, not a ship. We call it an ark. Gopher wood. What is a gopher wood? Maybe you may ask yourself. This is a type of wood. Lena at home. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and out with pitch. Pitch. Dust, soil with mud. Why? So that the waters from the rain cannot penetrate through the boat. For behold, I will bring flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh in which the breath of life from under heaven. Everything that is on earth shall die. Everything shall die that is on earth. But remember, God is instructing Noah to build an ark. But I will establish my covenant. Remember the word covenant, an agreement between God and his people. With you, who? Noah. You shall come into the ark. You, your sons, your wife, your sons' wives with you. The entire family from Noah, together with the animals. Which animals? Let us move on, Lena, to find out. And every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. All kinds of animals, Lena at home, male and female. A lion, a lioness, a cow, a bull, you name them. Elephant, female elephant, and a male elephant, a male monkey, and a female monkey, bringing them both or into the ark, so that they might multiply after the flood. Now, you are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you and for them. Remember, Lena at home, they are going to be staying inside the ark for the entire time the rain is raining, or for the entire flood when it is still existing upon the face of the earth. Now, they are going to be starving, obviously, so they will need some kind of food, some form of food to fill themselves. Noah and his family together with the animals. So Noah was told by God to bring some food, the animals and his family into the ark. Let us move on. Lena at home. Noah did everything just as God commanded him. Now, Lena at home, it is important to follow God's commandment. When God tells you to do something, do that according to God's commandment. Just like Noah. Let us move on, Lena at home. You can see here, Noah is still in the process of building the ark together with his family. Here is Noah here carrying some of the wood. Noah, we are told that he tried to warn the people of his community or from where he was living and all the people that he was living with to come and help him construct this ark, because he tried to warn them that a flood is coming, God is going to destroy the entire earth. But what did people do? They didn't take him seriously. They didn't listen to him. So what did Noah do? He took his family. He continued to follow God's commandment. He didn't despair. He continued building the ark so that then when the flood comes, him, his family, and the entire animals can go through it and be safe from the flood. Just like in our today's lives, the preachers are preaching so that people can repent, but people are not listening. Just likewise, but that is a lesson for another day, Lena Tom. Let me continue with our lesson. Now we can see Noah here. He is done constructing the ark. All the animals are going just into the ark in readiness of the flood. You can see here, the clouds are pregnant with water here in readiness. The flood is coming. There are some drops beginning to fall down. So Noah is taking the animals into the boat. You can see the animals, some are going in twos, in pairs, male and female. And his family are helping him to drive the animals into the ark in readiness of the flood. Where are the other people from the entire community? They are not there. They continued with their violence. They continued with their corruption. They continued with their wickedness, not taking Noah serious. Let us continue. Lena Tom. During the flood now, Lena Tom, when Noah had built the ark, God sent the flood and Noah was 600 years old. Teacher, is that true? Yes, it is true, Lena Tom. It is written in the Bible. Noah was 600 years old when the rain began to fall. It fell for 40 days and 40 nights. Imagine, raining heavily, cats and dogs, raining heavily. There is no stop, day and night for 40 days. Obviously, a flood may occur from such an ordeal, from such a heavy rainfall. Now, all the people, livestock and animals and birds that were on the earth drowned as the water rose. Noah and his family, his wife and 3 sons, obviously, and wives, and the animals on the ark survived. Why, Lena Tom? Because they had obeyed God's commandment. That is found on verses 6, 7, and 12. The waters increased and bore up the ark, meaning they brought up the ark as the water level increased. The waters prevailed so mightily upon the earth that all the high mountains under the whole heaven were covered. By what? By water. Imagine the mountains that you are seeing across you or from wherever you are, all covered in water. It is such a scary experience, but the Bible records such event that it did occur. Lena at home. Now, during this flood, all the flesh died that move upon the earth. Birds, cattle, beasts, all swarming creatures that swam upon the earth, and every man. Now, this word man does not mean gender, only male, beside women or females. Men here in this instance refers to all human beings. That is found on verse 21. Only Noah and those with him in the ark were left. The flood water covered the earth for 150 days. That is approximately in our today's time, 3 months. The water level is not going down, it's not subsiding, still covering the entire mountains, everything. Why this, Lena Tom? God was trying to make sure that everything is destroyed. Why? Because God was angry with the conduct of all human beings. Let us continue. Lena Tom. You can see people here drowning in this picture. They are trying to gasp for air. They are trying to save themselves. Some of them, I can imagine, banging on the door on Noah's ark. Noah, open for us. We are sorry for not listening to you. And Noah, following God's commandment, didn't open the door. You can see Noah's ark here. Him, his family, and all the animals that he took, they are safe inside, chowing their food, warm and not wet from the heavy rain. Here, the people are drowning. Why? Because they did not listen to Noah while he had warned them. He was still warning them to help him construct this ark because the flood water was coming. Let us continue. Then I home. You can see the flood here. Now, everything is covered. You cannot even see a mountain here or a slight rock. The animals here, they are looking outside. They are seeing everything. They are rejoicing that they are safe from this flood. You can see how dark the clouds are. They are heavily pregnant with water. Let us continue. Then I told, after the flood now, God remembered Noah, and the windows of heavens were closed. The rain from heavens was restrained. Gradually the water began to go down. After another 150 days, Len I told, the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat is a mountain found in present Turkey, a country found between Asia and Europe, if I may borrow from those who are doing geography. So Noah was after the flood, the water and the ark rested on Mount Ararat, and Mount Ararat is the highest peak of the country known as Turkey. But the water went down slowly, and the people and animals on the ark could not yet leave. Noah sent on a raven to see if it could find dry land, but it never came back. He then sent a dove. If I may continue. The dove came back with an olive leaf and on its beak, and so Noah knew that the flood waters were almost gone. The dove came back with an olive leaf on its beak. Now, the symbol of an olive of a dove with an olive on its beak, here you can see from this picture, bringing the olive leaf or branch to Noah here. In our today's time, many international organizations are using that as a symbol of peace amongst people, amongst maybe other people that we live with. So even here, the dove here bringing the olive, it symbolizes that the water level has subsided. So Noah now, together with the animals and his family, can prepare himself to disembark or to go out of the ark. So Lena at home. After 7 days, he sent again. However, he sent it again. What now? The dove. However, this time it never came back. The dove, after being sent by Noah, it never came back. Probably, we are not sure why, but probably because it had nested or found somewhere to rest. But it never came back, and Noah decided now to leave the ark. He left the ark together with the animals because he had opened the window and seen the dry land, that the waters now had subsided. Because remember, God had remembered Noah and had stopped the rain. They made a sacrifice. The first thing that they did after disembarking from the ark, they made a sacrifice to God as a symbol of worship and acknowledging God being a sovereign God. Now, probably if I may chip in here, after trials and tribulations, Lena at home, we must, after God has rescued us from trials and tribulations, we must honor God. The first thing that we must do is to honor God after He has rescued us from any trials and tribulations. God promised that He would not send another flood to destroy all the living things, even if humans were evil. God sent a rainbow as a sign of the promise that He will never destroy the entire earth with water again. This was a sign of the covenant that God made with Noah. Even in our today's life, after heavy rains, Lena and Tom, I'm sure maybe you have discovered, when after a rain, high up in the mountains, there is a slight rainbow there. What can we learn from that? Different colors showing there. We can learn that God keeps His promises. Even in our today's time, God still keeps that covenant, that promise that He made with Noah. If I may continue, Lena at home, you can see here the rainbow, the ark here resting on Mount Ararat. Here, the altar whereby Noah had made a sacrifice. The animals now, they are in pairs. They are trying to familiarize themselves with the environment after the flood. Now, why did God send the flood? The Lord saw the wickedness of man was great in earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil. That is the main reason. Reason number one, man was wicked. Now, reason number two, the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. That is why. If I may continue, Leonard Tom, just a bit. Noah was obedient, blameless, and righteous. Those are the characters of Noah. The people were evil, violent, corrupt, and disobedient. The raven and the dove were untrustworthy and reliable. Leonard Tom, I'd like us, if I may, I'd like us to end here for today, due to time being against us. Probably, if God permits, we will continue with our lesson. Okay, if I may take back everything to Lerato.
Well, sir, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the lesson, and I'm sure the grade 7s enjoyed an interesting lesson indeed. Up next is my colleague Nogwazi, who is going to be presenting the next subject, which is Siswati. Let's take a quick commercial break.
Kids, wash your hands so you can come in and have lunch.
Okay, Mom.
Tabo, apply some soap. You shouldn't just use water only.
But my hands aren't dirty, Nolwazi.
Just because your hands don't look dirty doesn't mean they're clean. We need to wash our hands regularly with soap and running water for at least 20 seconds, just like teacher taught us, so that all virus-causing germs and bacteria are washed away.
Tabo, listen to your sister, baby. It's important to always wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Like right now before we eat, after using the toilet, after touching animals, or after changing a nappy. We must also clean our surfaces and toilet seats with disinfectant.
Guys, it's time to wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands. Dirt and germs don't stain their germs, germs bye-bye. First the water, then the soap, and you scrub all your palms, scrub your fingers till they're clean, rinse and dry.
Guys, I'm home.
Welcome back, honey.
This is your 1 p.m. news update brought to you by Victor Silombo. In the news today, we'll speak a little bit more about COVID-19, a disease that's infectious and causing problems all over the world. COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by the coronavirus. The disease can spread from person to person through small droplets from the nose or mouth, which are spread when a person with COVID-19 coughs or exhales. These droplets land on objects and surfaces around the person, and other people then catch COVID-19 by touching these objects and surfaces, then touching their eyes, nose, or mouth. Here's a few simple precautions that you can follow to reduce your chances of being infected or spreading COVID-19. Regularly and thoroughly clean your hands with an alcohol-based hand rub or wash them with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose with your flexed elbow or use a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Then dispose of that used tissue immediately in a dustbin. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Maintain a social distance of at least 1 meter between yourself and everyone else. Drink copious amounts of water to make sure your body is hydrated. And remember, if you develop a fever, a cough, or have difficulty breathing, call 977. Stay safe, stay home.
Kids, I hope you are listening carefully. It's very important that we take these precautions very seriously, so we all avoid catching or spreading COVID-19. So, we must stay home for our safety. Okay?
Yes, Dad.
Hi viewers at home, my name is Professor Shabang. I am the presenter for your favorite health program, Better Health, Better Life. Thank you viewers at home for the calls and the messages, and thank you Eswatini TV for the great platform. Better Health, Better Life Season 4 is coming bigger and better. And now you have a chance to participate by sending a video of your view prior to the next program. On that note, we are appealing to all Eswatini. Please, stay at home, stop the spread so that we can save lives.
Angikwamukele mbukeli ehlelweni lethu i-home study ligama lami ngingunokwazi ngwakadlamini kanti kulesikhathi samanje sitawufunza siswati selibanga lemfica kanti sengivele nginaye thishela waso siswati selibanga lemfica Bathobile Shiba. Bathobile ingabe njani namuhla?
Ngiyaphila nokwazi njani wena?
Ngiyaphila nami Bathobile. Namuhla sitawufunza ngendzaba mpikiswano. Ingabe umfundzi wakho ubheke ukuthi abe afunzeni ekupheleni kwalesifundo?
Kundzaba mpikiswano nokwazi kufanele lokuthi siyifundzise nje siyacija noma siyalolonga likhono lemfundzi ukuthi akhone kubhala loluhlobo lwalendzaba.
Awu Bathobile asingachithike isikhathi lesiningi ngintawuyekela ke ukuthi uqale nesifundo sakho.
Okay. Ngiyabonga nokwazi. Ngimbingelele umfundzi lofundza Swati ebangeni lemfica losekhaya. Sesivele sesijwayele ke mfundzi ukuthi ngalesikhathi lesi suke sesifunza konke lesitadzinga sesivele sikulungiselele. Njengoba besikhulumile ke ukuthi sitawufunza indzaba mpikiswano. Indzaba mpikiswano njengoba kudisho nje indzaba mpikiswano. Lokusho ukuthi kukhona kuphikisana lekufanele ukuthi kube khona kulolu hlobo lwendzaba lolu. Sitawuqala ke ngokuthi sibuke imigomo yalesifundvo sethu sanamuhla ngoba phela kufanele ukuthi kube khona umfundzi akakutfolako. Ekupheleni kwalesifundvo ke kubhekekile ukuthi umfundzi akhone kuchaza indzaba mpikiswano. Njengoba nje ngishilo ukuthi yindzaba mpikiswano kunekuphikisana kufanele ke sibe khona akhone umfundzi kuchaza indzaba mpikiswano. Kufanele futhi akhone kwehlukanisa indzaba mpikiswano kuletinye tindzaba. Kuke kwavela etifundweni letendlulile ukuthi tinengi tihlobo tetindzaba. Kukhona indzaba lecocako. Lenye ke indzaba lesinayo indzaba mpikiswano. Kufanele ke umfundzi akhone kuyehlukanisa indzaba mpikiswano endzabeni lecocako noma lolunye uhlobo lwendzaba. Kufanele ke futhi umfundzi akhone kunika tingoni tendzaba mpikiswano. Ngilesibhekeke ukuthi kwendeke lokho ekupheleni kwalesi sifundvo. So uyatibuta ke umfundzi njengoba ngishito ukuthi yindzaba mpikiswano la. kunekuphikisana lokusho ukuthi kuyafonsiswana lomunye ufonsela le lomunye ufonsela le. Sitawucala ngekubuka ke kahle vele iyini yona lendzaba mphikiswano. Indzaba mphikiswano ke luhlobo lwendzaba lapho khona lobhalako aniketwa sihloko leside bese kuleso sihloko uyaveta umbono wakhe ngaso. Avete ukuthi uyahambisana noma uyaphikisana naso. Lokusho ukuthi kungendeka ukuthi umfundzi ahambisane nesihloko noma asiphikise. Kubalulekile ke mfundzi ukuthi luhlangothi lalithatha ngaleso sihloko akhone kulusekela ngetibonelo. Kangangoba loyo lobeka ngaboni ngasolinye naye angagcina sekathathekile. Sisite kuyafonsiswana la. Lomnye ubheka le nalomnye ubheka le. Ngakho ke lolu hlangothi lalithatha kufanele ukuthi akhone ukuthi aluthengise. Kubhekekile futhi ukuthi asayibhala aluvete lolunye lihlangothi. Ngikhulumile ngathi mfundzi lana kulendzaba le kunetinhlangothi letimbili. Utawuthatha lihlangothi. Kepha ngoba letinhlangothi timbili tiyafonsisana ngeke ugcine ngekuveta lunye luhlangothi loluthethe. Utawendlula mfundzi uluvete lolunye lihlangothi. Ngofa ke kufanele ukuthi acaphele umfundzi angakhanzi sekalusekela kakhulu futhi kangcono kunalolu lalusekele lokusho ukuthi lakaluthethe kuthi yena ungakulo. Sitawubuka ke mfundzi site nasikhuluma ngemigomo yalesifumvu. Sathi sitawubuka netingoni tendzaba mphikiswano. Nasikhuluma ngetingoni tendzaba mphikiswano sikhuluma ngesakhiwo yakhiwe ngani indzaba mphikiswano. Endzabeni mphikiswano ke njengato tonke tindzaba sinaso sihloko, sinaso singeniso, sinawo umtimba kanjalo sinaso nesiphefo. Sitawucala ke mfundzi ngekuthi sibuke sihloko. Sitawukhumbula esifumveni lesendlulile ukuthi sasho sathi yonke indzaba lebhalwako inesihloko. Sihloko ngilesi siniketa lendzaba ukuthi ingani. Sisisusela phi ke mfundzi sihloko? Sihloko sisuselwa embutweni. Nangabe sihloko sisuselwa embutweni kufanele ukuthi usina ubhala usibhale sigcame. Na ubhala sihloko usibhala sigcame. Singasigcamisa njani ke sihloko? Singasigcamisa ngekuthi sisivebele noma sibhalwe ngetinhlavu. Sisivebele uma ngabe sisibhale ngetinhlavu letincane. Noma ke sisibhale ngabofeleba. Uma sisibhale ngabofeleba asisivebele. Angikunikete nje mfundzi sibonelo. Bhala indzaba lengemagama langemakhulu lamabili kuya ku emakhulu lamabili nesihlanu. Ngesihloko lesithi inyuform ayichubeke igcokwe etikolweni. Sithi tena ubhala sihloko kufanele sisigcame. Siyasigcamisa ke ngekuthi sithi ngekusibhala nangabe sisibhale saqalisa ngafeleba kwabe sesekubathi inhlavu letincane bese sesiyasivebela mfundzi njengoba sivetshelwe. Noma ke sisigcamise ngekuthi sisibhale ngabofeleba. Nakubofeleba asivetshelwa mfundzi njengoba ubona esibonelweni lekulesibonelo lengisendile. Lenye ingoni sithite manje singeniso. Sitawukhumbula mfundzi ukuthi esifumveni lesendlulile kwachazwa ngebumcoka besingeniso kuthi esingenisweni usuke uhlangana kwekuqala ngca naloyo lofundza lendzaba yakho. Kunetimvokele kubhayeke ukuthi tibe khona ezingenisweni letifaka nathi letilandzelako. Ezingenisweni umbhali wefula lokho latawukhuluma ngako. Singeniso sitshela umfundzi wendzaba ukuthi itawubhekaphi ngila afola khona luhala ukuthi lendzaba ibhekaphi. Singeniso ke kufanele siconze ngco endzabeni singathemelezi. Esingenisweni ke sendzaba mphikiswano kufanele kuvele ukuthi kunemicomvo leyehlukene. Sisite indzaba mphikiswano kuyaphikiswana nasiphikisana asiphikisane nangabe siyavumelana. siphikisana nangabe lomnye unemcomvo lomunye nalomnye unemcomvo lomunye. Lena ke ngoba indzaba mphikiswana akuvele esingenisweni ukuthi kutawuphikiswana kulendzaba le. Umbhali wayo ke futhi wendzaba mphikiswana kufanele ukuthi aluthathe luhlangothi lalusekelayo. Sithi manje la esingenisweni kufanele ukuthi uvete ukuthi ukuluphi ihlangothi kunemicomvo lemibili wena ukuluphi ihlangothi. Sibonelo sefu lesendile uma ngabe singabuyela emuva kancane kulesibonelo sendile sithi manje kufanele ukuthi kube nesihloko. Lesihloko sefu sithi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe etikolweni. Sitawuchubeka ke mfundzi nasenda lesibonelo sefu sesingeniso sibuke lesihloko lesithi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe etikolweni. Nasi ke sibonelo lengisendile mfundzi. Kune kungaboni ngasolinye kulamalanga nakukhulunywa ngegcoka kweuniform. Labanye bathi ayichubeke igcokwe kanti labanye bathi asale ingagcokwa. Mina ngiyavumelana nalomcomvo lothi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe etikolweni. Sithite esingenisweni mfundzi sendzaba mphikiswano luhlangothi loluthathako kufanele luvele. Kulesingeniso lesi nje sekuyabonakala ukuthi hayi umbhali walendzaba mphikiswana uyaluthatha luhlangothi uthi yena kulokuphikisana longala uthi ayingagcokwa longala uthi ayigcokwe. Yena ke so uyalithatha luhlangothi uthi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe etikolweni. Singeniso sithe sisiniketa lihala sesiyati ukuthi lokulandzelako sigadze kuva vele ukuthi uthi ayigcokwe leni ngoba singeniso kufanele sibe namfundiseni. Nabe singeniso sinamfundiseni ngile ngikhabu yethi uchubeka ufunze naba bayaphikisana lomnye uthi iuniform ayingagcokwa lona uthi ayigcokwe. Usholani ukuthi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe. Lenye ingoni lesikhulume ngayo yendzaba mphikiswana ngumtimba. Indzaba mphikiswana iwinemtimba njengato tonke tindzaba. Yini ke leyenteka ko emtimbeni wendzaba? Emtimbeni wendzaba umbhali wayo wenaba nesihloko sendzaba afake emaphuzu macondzana lesihloko sewuyenaba lokusho ukuthi sowuchaza kabanti. Emtimbeni wendzaba mphikiswana ucala ngekuveta lolu hlangothi laluthethe esingenisweni bese uyalusekela. Njengoba kuvelile nje ukuthi esingenisweni ihlangothi lengiluthethe nangenda lesibonelo ngitsite abafunzi abachubeke bagcoke iuniform. Yini ke lokunye lokubhekekile ukuthi umfunzi ukwende emtimbeni kubhekekile ukuthi uluvete nalolunye lihlangothi ulusekele ngemaphuzu njengoba nasikhuluma sichaza ukuthi iyini indzaba mphikiswana. Sithite kufanele nalolunye luhlangothi uluvete sithite kuyaphikiswana angeke kube indzaba mphikiswana nangabe seyibuke luhlangothi lunye. Asibuke ke nasi sibonelo mfundzi kanye. Kwekucala nje iuniform ayigcokwe etikolweni ngoba uyakhona kwehlukanisa umfundzi ukuthi wakusiphi isikolo. Lokho kusita kakhulu ngoba noma kungenteka ingodi yemgwaco loyo lotawubona lo mfundzi utawati ukuthi wakusiphi isikolo ngekubona tembafo taloyo mfundzi. Ngaleso sizafu kuba melula ukuthi kubikelwe bothishela baleso sikolo ngemonakalo lo sewendekile. Sithite indzaba mphikiswano uyakhangisa wenda umumfu lobeka ngayiboni lendzaba noma lemfo lekhulunywa ngayo agcine ayibona ngendlela yakho. Lana nje uyaziveta sizafu lesibangela ukuthi igcokwe leni ichubeke leni iuniform igcokwe etikolweni. Akakagcini nje ngekuthi ayichubeke igcokwe ngumtimba uyenaba uniketa tibonelo kuthi nase kwendekile nje umfundzi wathi khanza sekasengotini emgwaco sekutawubonakala ukuthi lo mfundzi lo ngumfundzi kwecala le uniform ngiyo le letawuveta ukuthi ngumfundzi lo. Kwesibili lo mfundzi lo wakusiphi isikolo nalomnyeke lebeka ngacabanga ngathi ayingagcoka so uyabubona bumgcoka bekugcoka iuniform igcokwelani iuniform sikhulumeke ngeke ukuthi indzaba mphikiswano kufanele ukuthi ivete tinhlangothi letimbili awugcini ngekuveta lo lwakho nje luhlangothi kuphela asesibuke ke sibonelo salolunye luhlangothi bamfu abayi ngenhlanye bangesiwo emanti bakhona labathi iuniform sale ingasagcokwa etikolweni banetabo tizafu letifaka ekhathi kuthi nangabe umfundzi agangile kanzi ugcoke uniform bese wona ligama laleso sikolwa bamfu bese basikhuluma kabi lesikolo kungathi lo mkhuba lombi wendiwa ngabo bonke bafundzi kanzi kube lo mfundzi bekangayigcoka uniform ngabe leli gama laleso sikolwa alikonakali awugcini ke mfundzi ngekubuka lo hlangothi lokulo wena kufanele uluve sithite yindzaba mpikiswane kune kuphikisana kuvete mfundzi na usabhala lendzaba yakho kuthi bakhona labangahambisani nalomcomvo wakho banetizafu tabo nabo titsini ke letizafu njengoba sesisendile sibonelo salolunye luhlangothi kuthi babonani bona yini lebenda kuthi bangahambisani nale sihloko indzaba ke mphikiswana njengato tonke tindzaba siyalibuka lulwimi kumcoka kuthi lulwimi lusetshenziswe kahle kufanele ke lulwimi lwendzaba mphikiswana lube nemfufo lugcizelele lukhanyise lokho lakholelwa kuko umfundzi kubhekekile ke futhi kuthi asebenzise amagama nangikhalandzilako kungasiko lokho kuphela esikhundleni saloko kwekucala ngetulu kwaloko kwengeta nalamanye lahluki lamanyenti lulumi kufanele lunothe ngekuthi usebenzise tisho taga tibabato noma tenta kuthi kanjalo mfundzi netimpawu tekubhala longatisebenzisa tingafaka ekhathi umbuti umbabati khefana ngci feleba lapho kufanele khona kufanele ke usebenzise mfundzi sibitelo lesingiso nemsebenzi wakho uhlobe singasibona nje sibonelo sibuyele emva kancane mfundzi sisite ungatisebenzisa tisho netaga nawubuka nanku umsho wami bamfu abayi nganhlanye bangesiwo emanti sisebenzise sisho lapho mfundzi lokushothi sowuveta lolunye lihlangothi siyabona umsho wami ucale ngafeleba umsho wami wagcina ngangci siyabona nekuthi tibitelo tingito futhi tihamba kahle kufanele ke mfundzi kwekuthi ukucilikele lokho kwekuthi umsebenzi wakho ube kahle uhlobe lenye ingoni yendzaba mpikiswano noma sakhiwo noma lokho lokwakha indzaba mpikiswano siphefo esiphefeni ke mfundzi usuke sowufike ekugcineni kwendzaba yakho lena indzaba mpikiswano kusho ukuthi sawutivete tonke tinhlangothi ulivetile lo lisekelako waluveta nalolunye saleke ukhombisa ukuthi sengicedzile lokhu lebe ngikhuluma ngakho esiphefeni usuke sewusonga sowuyagocota lo fundza lendzaba yakho ngeke uzumbhalele eceleni ukuthi siphefo cha ke mfundzi kutawutibonakalela ukuthi lokho lo mfundzi lebe kakhuluma ngako sekufike ekugcineni sewucedzile sisibhala njani ke siphefo siphefo sinzima yekugcina endzabeni lapho khona umbhalo wendzaba asonga indzaba yakhe uyayisonga seyiphelile esiphefeni ke sendzaba mpikiswano mfundzi kubhekekile ukuthi ugcizelele luhlangothi loluthethe esingenisweni bese ubeka liphuzu leliqinile hayi lelisha lo uke wakhuluma ngalo kepha lokumcoka akuvele lothi sewufike emaphethelweni vele lokuvete esingenisweni ukuthi wena uthi ugcizelela kona. Asibuke ke mfundzi kanye nasi sibonelo sesiphefo sendzaba mpikiswano. Kungakhulunywa kushonela ilanga noma bangaze baphukuhle emagwebu solo ngiyagcizelela ukuthi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe etikolweni. Bamfu baye bakhulume kushonela ilanga nakwende njani bakhuluma baphukuhle emagwebu umela lokhu laka kushido uthi ke noma bangaze bakhulume bathini bangakhuluma kushonela ilanga. Ngikhulume ngendzaba yelwimi mfundzi ukuthi lulwimi lolusebenzisa kokufanele lunothe lungatifaka netisho nawubuka nje la kungakhulunywa kushonela ilanga noma ngabe bongasadi uyabona ukuthi iyashisa lendzaba lekhulunywako letawukhulunywa kuze kushonela ilanga ngoba nangabe indzaba nje sitawukhuluma sengce kepha lekhulunywa kushonela ilanga iyashisa. Ishisiswa yini ke lendzaba mpikiswana? Ishisiswa ukuthi imicomvo mibili leyehlukene wena ugcizelela lo wakho uthi wena lobo ngangiva ukuthi ngithini ngive ukuthi ngithini. Solo ngiyagcizelela ukuthi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe etikolweni. Iuniform ngiyo leyenda ukuthi umfundzi agcame ehluke kulabanye bamvu avele abonakale ukuthi ngumfundzi nekuthi wakusiphi isikolo. Leyenda bamvu bati ukuthi emhlabeni kunebafundzi ukuthi umfundzi ugcoke iuniform. Nalobe langenda ngazuthi akakuva ukuthi uthi ayichubekelele le uniform igcokwe vele sewumthengile sewumkhangile ukuthi akakuve vele iuniform ayigcokwe etikolweni. Mfundzi ke asikhumbutane masinyane ngesifundvo setfu sanamuhla ukuthi yini lesiyifundzile kule sifundvo sanamuhla. Sifundzile ke mfundzi ukuthi njengato tonke tindzaba indzaba mpikiswano inesihloko. Safundza futhi ukuthi nayo inesingeniso. Esingenisweni kufanele luvele luhlangothi loluthathako. Njengoba bese ngikhulumile mfundzi ukuthi endzabeni kundzaba mpikiswano kufanele ukuthi ibe netinhlangothi letimbili wena mfundzi utawuthatha lihlangothi utazivetela esingenisweni ukuthi wena kule micomvo lemibili uthini. Safundza futhi ukuthi indzaba mpikiswano inemtimba. Emtimbeni wendzaba usekela luhlangothi loluthethe uphindze uvete imibono yalolunye lihlangothi njengoba kuvelile nje ukuthi ayigcokweleni uniform phindze futhi ayingagcokwaleni uniform utiveta totimbili inhlangothi. Esiphefeni ke mfundzi uyaphetha ngekuthi uyagcizelela luhlangothi loluthethe esingenisweni. Angeke uthi naso ufike esiphefeni soyagucuka hayi angisasho mina ukuthi iuniform ayigcokwe sengithi iuniform ayingagcokwe. Esiphefeni sigcizelela loku lesikushido uma singenisa lendzaba. Kumlethi sithi singeniso luhala siniketa lahala ukuthi lendzaba itawukhuluma ngani. Ngakho ke la siphefeni sengikukhulumile konke lebe ngifuna ukukhuluma sengiyagcizelela ukuthi lokhu lenguvete esingenisweni ukuthi indzaba mpikiswano mina ngithatha lo hlangothi lolo angikaguculwa ngilele eminye imicomvo levetwa bamvu balololunye lihlangothi solo ngimile ngiyagcizelela. Sikhumbule ukuthi sithe lulwimi lwendzaba mpikiswano lunemfufo. Nasibuka nje lesiphefo sefu sithi kungakhulunywa sisho sathi kungakhulunywa kushonela ilanga. Kungakhulunywa kushonela ilanga noma bangaze bakhulume baphukuhle emagwebu solo ngiyagcizelela. ukusebenzisa lulwimi lolunemfufo vele uyawuthengisa uyawukhangisa lo mcomvo wakho ukuthi no lona lobe kade ishaya ngathi akayiboni baye bathi nalonga ingene utawuzayingene kunzaba mpikiswano ke wenda lokho ukuthi nalonga ingeni le yakho akagcine ayingenile. Ngeke ke mfundisi ngifundise kangaka bese ngisakushini emsebenzi ngangigange kakhulu. Nangu ke umsebenzi wakho lotawubhala ekhaya njengoba uhleli nje kulamalanga. Bhala indzaba lengemagama langemakhulu lamabili kuya kulana emakhulu langemakhulu lamabili nemashumi lasihlanu ngesihloko lesithi tikolwa ativulwe eminyakeni lotako nga-2021. Ngathi kahle ke mfundisi ukuthi yindzaba mpikiswano lotayiva kahle la. Ngiyathi nje nyalo lomnye uthi ha unetizatfu takhe letimbangela ukuthi athi ha lomnye uthi yes naloyo unetizatfu takhe. Bhala ke mfundisi na indzaba yakho letawuthi tikolwa ativulwe eminyakeni lotako. Ukhumbule mfundisi ukuthi noma ngabe uthite ha ubakhumbule phela nabalaba labasi nje usho kona na ubhala ke lendzaba yakho uyakuveta kokubili utiveta totimbili tinhlangothi.
Asibonge kakhulu Bathobile, isifundo sakho besimnanzi kakhulu. Bafunzi bakho ke banemibuto Bathobile, ngidawucala ngana umfundisi na ngilobuta ke ukuthi sivumelekile yini kuveta imicondvo lemibili enzimeni yinye.
Ngiyabonga nokwazi. Kuvumelekile mfundisi ukuthi uvete imicondvo lemibili. Ngemicondvo lemibili awusho emaphuzu lamabili lawehlukene. Usho ukuthi utawucala uvume angibekise ngale sihloko sami lebengisendile ukuthi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe. Utawusho ukuthi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe usibeke sizatfu gofa bakhona labathi ayingagcokwa ngoba zophikisa leliphuzu lolishito la ngetulo. Kuvumelekile mfundisi ngilenye indlela yekubhala indzaba mpikiswano.
Lomunye ke umfundisi ubuta ukuthi uma sokhombisa lolunye luhlangothi uvele ugcine ngale liphuzu noma ubese soyaliphikisa.
Sithite lana sibhala indzaba mpikiswano. Kule ndzaba mpikiswano kufanele ukuthi uvete tinhlangothi letimbili. Na kutawuya ngalendlela lobhala ngayo mfundisi. Nangabe usebenzise lengiyisebenzisile yekuthi uqala uyavuma kulenzima le enzimeni lelandzelako uyaphika bacabangele laba labaphikako useticafulweni talona lophikako ngoba uthite bamfu abayi nganhlanye bangasiwo emandi lokusho ukuthi bakhona labangavumelani noma labangahambisani nekuthi iuniform ayichubeke igcokwe. Lapho ke sowuvetela bona lolu hlangothi lwabo ngoba lolu lwakho uluthengisile.
Siyabonga kakhulu Bathobile, isifundo sakho besimnanzi kakhulu. Siyethemba ukuthi sidabona futhi ngalesinye isikhathi lesitako.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu nokwazi.
Okay, siyabonga Bathobile. Mbukeli uyalandzela ke lerato kanye naye Daily Dlamini walelibanga la lemfica sifundo sakho na English language. Siyabuya khona manje.
Ngulezinkosi indvuna yetempilo. Lamuhla ngiyachubeka ngkusata sive ukuthi sigeze tandla ngemanti lahlobile nesipho. Noma ngiyiphi isipho lekhona ekhaya. Geze tandla takho. Ngisho ukuthi tandla takho utigeza yonke indzawo. Basuke tandla bese uthatha lolu suka ngako uvale imbomo. Uhloba kwami impilo yami. Siyabonga.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
COVID-19, yes, the coronavirus. It is now our daily talk. It is now our everyday breaking news. I think it's high time we all come together and make sure we bring an end to this. Cause we can't sit down while it's still taking over. Let's all follow all the precautions given by the health department so that we can protect ourselves and also protect others.
I just wash my hands before I touch. I just close my mouth before I cough. And I just close my mouth before I sneeze. And I don't go to parties, that's a risk, yeah.
I see. I wash my hands before I touch. I see. I close my mouth before I cough. I see. I close my mouth before I sneeze. I see. I don't go to parties, that's a risk.
I see. People going through a lot. I see. Coronavirus is a threat. I see. I don't go to parties, that's a risk. I see. I close my mouth before I cough. In case you're wondering, just wash your hands in case you handle things, and then keep an eye if you sneeze or cough, gotta keep it covered. I mean, who am I? Just a person living, wanna see you living, cause I value life. Eswatini, raise up, we gon' fight and conquer, cause we really got this.
I see. I wash my hands before I touch. I see. I close my mouth before I cough. I see. I close my mouth before I sneeze. I see. I don't go to parties, that's a risk.
Believe that some of the people you know can never be trusted at all. You gotta be cautious. Wash your hands more often. Can trust everything that we touch. And when you sneeze, you gotta make sure you cover your mouth, but not with your hands, cause you do not know who you gonna touch or what you have touched before all of that. Avoid meeting up with too many people for your own good and everyone else. You gotta make sure you keep it all clean. Watch how you maneuver, look after yourself. A hand sanitizer won't kill you. Make sure that you use running water. Just think of our brothers and sisters in the country and the ones that are outside the borders. Yeah.
I see. I wash my hands before I touch. I see. I close my mouth before I cough. I see. I close my mouth before I sneeze. I see. I don't go to parties, that's a risk. Let's all come together and all say, not today, coronavirus.
Hi, my name is Professor Shabang. I am an actor and a TV presenter. Coronavirus is a deadly virus, an invincible enemy killing people all over the world. We are not exempted, but together we can walk through and overcome as a nation. All we need to do is to follow the health precautions. Stay at home, stop the spread, and save lives.
Kumelula ukuthi ligciwane lecorona lisuke kulomunye lingene kulomunye uma sitawusonzelana. Singasita sinciphise kwanza kwalo ngekuthi sikhweshelane. Lokhu kusho ukuthi singachawulani, singathinzani, njengokuhagana nje. Tikhwashise ngesigaba lesiyimitha kusuka kulabanye. Kumcoka kakhulu kuhlala uhlobile nekuthi hlobisa uma uke waphumela kubantfu. Ngekubambisana sitakumisa kwanza kwaleli gciwane sibe ngulabaphilile. Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane le-corona.
Welcome back, viewer. This is the third subject for today, and with me in studio are our sign language interpreters Nompumelelo Hatebe and Zanele Mota. Also joining me in studio is the Form 3 English language teacher, Miss Deli Dlamini. Good afternoon and welcome, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Lerato. How are you today?
I'm alright. What are you learning? What are the viewers going to be learning today?
They are going to be learning about writing and narrative composition.
Oh, okay. Please increase your volume a bit.
Oh,
ma'am.
sorry. They are going to be learning about how to write a narrative composition.
Okay, ma'am. So what would you like the viewer to have learned by the end of the lesson?
By the end of the lesson, the pupils should be able to communicate appropriately with a clear awareness of purpose, audience, and register. They are also expected to be able to communicate clearly and develop ideas in a coherent manner.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Form 3s, I hope you heard that, and I hope it's going to be an interesting lesson for you. You can start your lesson, ma'am.
Okay, as I stated, my dear learner at home, I'm going to start with the lesson objectives. By the end of the lesson, people should be able to communicate appropriately with a clear awareness. The purpose is very important. Clear awareness of purpose, audience, and register. In addition to that, pupils should be able to communicate clearly and develop ideas in a coherent manner. Over and above that, they are supposed to observe conventions of paragraphing, punctuation, and spelling. My dear learner at home, as we progress with the lesson, I'm sure you have your pen, your pencil, and your notebook ready. Let us move on now with the lesson. Writing and narrative composition. What is a narrative composition? We're going to start with the definition. A narrative composition is a composition that tells a story. It tells a what? A story, or it gives an account of some event, accident, or incident, because there is a difference between an accident and an incident. A narrative task requires you to write a story. And the purpose of the writing is to entertain the reader through the situation you have imagined, to explore the situation and the characters involved. Usually, a narrative or a story is told using the past tense, but this is not always the case, as we have writers who are bestsellers. They do tell their stories in the present tense. We have writers such as Nora Roberts. She tells amazing story in the present tense. What is important is that you are supposed to use the correct tense of verb. But on many occasions in our syllabus and in the exam, the topic or the subject you are given, it suggests the tense. Okay, let us now move on. A descriptive skill is important in writing a narrative, because without enough details that can enable the reader to envisage or visualize the scene and to identify the characters or the character, a narrative cannot be engaging or effective. So what am I saying here, my dear learner at home? I am saying that A descriptive composition can never be divorced from a narrative composition. The narrative skill and the descriptive skill, they marry. They are intertwined. They are interconnected. Let us now move on to how is a narrative composition written. When writing a narrative composition, there are many aspects that needs to be taken into consideration, such as the title and theme, characters, setting, and plot. With the plot, you need to take into consideration the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. A story, my dear learner at home, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay? Let us now move on to the title. A story should have a title, and it is the title that informs the reader about the theme, as it creates an expectation of what the story is about. What is a theme? A theme is the main idea which the writer wants the reader to get. The theme gives shape and unity to your composition. It's very important. And in addition to that, it also informs your planning. Remember, my dear learner at home, you are not supposed to write your composition in a haphazard way, but you need to plan it in order for you to come out with a masterpiece. Narrative compositions come in different forms. Let us look at this at the following examples of narrative task. You may be given this instruction: write a story based on the following. A night I will never forget. My first day in a new school. Here you are supposed to give an account of your first day at school. You may be even given the instruction: write a story based on the following idiomatic expression. Once bitten, twice shy. My dear learner, when you write this a story based on this, you need to know the meaning of the idiom. If you do not know the meaning of the idiom, chances are you are going to write something that is not relevant, because we do have it in Eswatini. Once bitten, twice shy. It can be loosely translated to gubona kanye, gubona kabili. So a lot of you will know this meaning. Another task may be: write a story based on a person who helped an enemy or someone he or she dislike. Here you are supposed to be telling a story about somebody else's experience. The last task example that I have is one which says: give an account of a car accident which you were involved in. The instruction usually gives you the word limit. Your story is supposed to be between 250 to 350 words. So please, my dear learner, when you write your story, make sure that you write at least and not less than the 250 words. Sometimes, my dear learner, you are given either the beginning or the ending of a story. What are the expectations here? In this task, you should make sure that your story is appropriate for either the beginning or the ending. If you are instructed to write a story beginning with the words, "I was too shocked for words, then I rushed out of the room," you are compelled, you have to, whether you like it or not, you have to begin your story with these words and then relate the events that follow. Also, make sure that your continuation is consistent with the tense used in the opening line. If it is in the present tense, make sure that you use the present tense. If it is in the past tense, make sure that you use the past tense. Moreover, if you are instructed to write a story ending with "he made a vow never to experiment with drugs again," make sure that this is the last sentence and do not use your own words. Remember, that your story should be what? It should be related to the ending. It's supposed to be relevant. My dear learner, my advice to you is that you should choose a title that you like and one that you will enjoy telling. And think about the direction it will take and where it will end before you start to write. Also, make sure that your story is worth telling. The story is worth telling because it is unusual, it is exciting, it is interesting or frightening. Remember, your story should have an impact on the reader. In your writing, you should demonstrate knowledge of the topic through the use of specified or specific vocabulary. This is very important, my dear learner. For example, when instructed to give an account of an accident that you were involved in, you are expected to use words like skidded, swift, head-on collision, collided, collision, steering wheel, driver, crash, knocked down, burst into flames. If you are narrating a car accident, these are the words that are specific for that occasion. However, if you are writing about a plane crash, you are expected to use words like propeller, jet engine, cabin, cockpit, joystick, take off, landing, crash landing, pilot instead of driver or captain, crew, air hostess or stewardess, and so on and so forth. It is very important to think about the best type of vocabulary and the effect you want to have on the reader. The effect that you want to have on the reader. Write an original story. What do I mean by this? Do not repeat a story you have read elsewhere, but be creative. Remember, this is creative writing. So create your own and show or demonstrate your creativity. In a story, my dear learner, there are characters. Let us now move on to characters. A story has characters. Writing a story is not only about narrating, but a description of character is also important. The story is a product of the interplay of character and action. What are characters? One might ask. Characters are the people in the story, and these are the agents of action. In your story, you are supposed to introduce the characters and describe them. The main character, who is the person whom the story revolves around, needs to be established in the opening line, which we call the introduction. You can show a person's nature or character by what that person says or does, his thoughts and feelings. Your characters must bring life to your story. So bring your characters to life by including dialogue, or in other words, direct speech, in order to what? To add drama. This makes your story more real and interesting, and it also reveals character. Include plenty of details about the people in the story to make the story real and believable as possible. Okay, let us move on, dear learner. A story, another important aspect that you need to take into consideration is that a story has a mood. And the mood of the story is determined by the topic. What is the implication of such? It means that you should pay particular attention to how you portray or present your characters. For example, if the mood of the story is happy, make the characters fit the situation. If the mood is sad, make your characters sad. It is important that the characters fit the situation. Try to make each character different so that the reader can tell them apart. For example, try to make the male characters different from the female characters, and try to make an old woman act and speak differently from girls. I hope that is clear, my dear Lena. A story has a setting. The word setting refers to the time and place where the story takes place. When you set a story, it is important for you to include background details on the time of the day or night the story takes place and where it takes place. You can begin the introduction with the setting and characters before the event in order to put the reader in the picture and to create suspense. Use sensational language and references to the senses to create drama and to entertain the reader. Here is an example, my dear Lena, on the setting. The title of the story is A Night I Will Never Forget. A night I will never forget. An immense stillness pervaded the night. Nothing moved or stirred, and I could hear my own heartbeat. A strange and incomprehensible terror gripped me, and my legs began to shake. I experienced an unpleasant prickling sensation all over my face and at the nape of my neck. My hair stood on end. In the forbidding silence, the only real thing seemed to be my thudding heart as I stood at the bank of a river which was as still as death. Let us look at let us analyze the setting. I said that the setting is the setting refers to where the story takes place as well as the time. The topic says a night I will never forget. Obviously, it's a given. The story should happen where? At night. And our opening sentence it creates suspense. The suspense that I talked about. It is a gripping opening sentence. An immense stillness pervaded the night. It wasn't just huge, but it was immense. It was enormous. Pervaded, it enveloped the night. Nothing moved or stirred, and I could hear my own heartbeat. Suspense has been created here. As I read, as a reader, I am intrigued. I want to continue reading. I want to find out what is going to happen next. The writer continues. A strange and incomprehensible terror. He does not say fear, but he says terror. The level of fear is very high from the beginning of the story. And it doesn't say it hurt, but he said it gripped me. The terror has been personified. And my legs began to shake. We can just picture, we can use our imagination and picture the person, the main character in the story, shaking, literally shaking, his legs shaking, they are wobbling. Because of what? Of fear. I experienced an unpleasant prickling sensation over my face and at the nape of my neck. This is clearly described. The fear, the thoughts and feelings that the main character is going through. Fear, terror. He is petrified. He is terrified. And let us continue. My hair stood on end. This sentence tells the level of fear. I'm sure, my dear Lena, at home you have experienced such. When you are afraid, when you are terrified, your hair it tend to stand on end, as if you are electrocuted or something. Let's continue. In the forbidding silence, the silence has been personified. It's like it is a person. It is commanding. The real thing seemed to be my thudding heart. There is onomatopoeia there. You can just, our senses of hearing are evoked. You can just imagine now that sound being made by the heart. That sound, the thudding heart. As I stood, I like the last sentence. As I stood at the bank of a river, it tells us about the setting. This is where the story is taking place, at the bank of a river. And the way the river, the bank of the river, or the setting has been described is also intriguing, which was as still as death. That's a simile has been used there to sort of like bring in an atmosphere of what? Of terror. I hope my example, dear Lena, was as clear as I tried to make it. A story, my dear Lena, let us move on to other aspects, has a plot. Every story is supposed to have a plot. It has to have a plot. What is a plot? A plot is the sequence of events and how the events in the story unfold. A story has to have a great plot. Tell you, how do you do this? How can you make sure that your story has a great plot? Tell your story in a captivating manner. Captivate the reader. I'm sure that in my previous example, you were captivated, you were intrigued. How can you do that? Another way of doing that is try to make the ideas in your writing to move briskly along. As such, makes for interesting reading, and it makes the reader to be involved in the action as she or he reads. You can tell a story in a chronological order, whereby you tell the story by starting from the beginning of the event, and then you narrate the action up to the end of the story. From the beginning the event up to the end of the story. Your story should have the following structure. It should have an introduction, where you introduce the setting and the characters. There are many ways you can use to introduce or start your story. You can set the scene in the first paragraph by giving details about the time and the place, as I said earlier on the setting, and then you intrigue the reader with something that makes them to want to read. Begin your story with a captivating introduction. I've already given you an example of that. Do not give the plot away. Why? Once you give the plot away, there is no need for the reader to continue reading your story. You can begin with an opening paragraph that grips the reader's attention and prepare him or her for what is to follow. Be it excitement or mystery or humor. Move from a gripping sentence to an opening paragraph that compels the reader to go on reading to find out what happened next. In other words, your composition should have the quality of compulsion. It should give the reader the urge to continue reading your story. Let us look at this example that has a gripping opening, and it has the quality of compulsion. Dazed by shock, paralyzed by fear, that fearful physical fear which twists your guts and fills your mouth with gall. I felt my muscle liquefy. I avoided the knife that was thrust at me by a hair's breadth. My heart failed me then. This sentence is this introduction is intriguing. It is meant to captivate the reader to continue reading the story up until the end. Let's look at the language. Dazed by shock, paralyzed. You know, when you are paralyzed by fear such that you cannot move, you are motionless, you are in one place. I like the way the writer says that fearful physical fear, repetition. Fearful physical fear which twists your guts and fills your mouth with gall. Gall is bitter. I felt my muscle liquefy, turn into liquid. I avoided the knife that was thrust at me by a hair's breadth. My heart failed me then. Okay. You can also start your story in the middle of the action in order to immediately engage the reader. This is another technique, and this technique is called the flashback technique. The term flashback refers to a plot that moves in reverse order. What does that mean? The story may begin with the climax and then move backwards to retrace the events from the beginning. Here is an example. Something solid and heavy landed on my shoulder and I fell down like a dead pig. Someone had hit me with a hard object, but strangely I felt no pain than a kind of numb paralysis, so that although I was fully awake of what was going on, I could not move a muscle. My friend Sicelo had also been struck and was writhing on the ground like someone having fits, wailing and screaming in agony. This story, my dear Lena, has the writer in this story has used the flashback technique. He starts the story in the climax. Okay? A story also has a body. In the body here, in relation to plot, it is this is where we refer this one to conflict stage, whereby the characters, they experience conflict, challenges, problems, or difficulties. This is the part of the composition where questions like what happened, how did it happen, what happened next, and what happened after that are dealt with. When you write your story, there is the rising action. In the introduction, you hint on the conflict. You just give a hint, but then in the body, you add more details on the problems that the characters are experiencing. Make sure that your sentences are well linked and grammatically correct. Also link your paragraphs well. At the start of a paragraph, there should be a word or expression which links it to the next paragraph, so that the series of events are arranged in a logical manner or way. So here we said the characters experience conflict and challenges and problems. Questions like what happened, how did it happen, what happened next, and what happened after that are dealt with. Make sure that your sentences are well linked and grammatically correct. Link your sentences. At the start of the paragraph, there should be a word or expression which links the next paragraph, so that the series of events are arranged in a logical way. Common ways of changing from one paragraph to another. When you are a change of time, you use after that, afterwards, later on, the next day, a month later, a week later, or later that day. When you are changing time, in the next room, not far, upon arrival, meanwhile at the hospital. When writing, your aim should be to make a smooth change from one point to another when you start a paragraph. My dear Lena, I believe that this is where our lesson is going to end. We touched on the theme, the title with the theme, characters, setting. We also touched on the plot. We touched on the plot, and we talked about the flashback technique, where you start your story in the middle of the action, and then the event, you retrace the event to the beginning. And when writing, make sure that there's a smooth change from one point to another when you start a new paragraph. Lerato?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Deli Dlamini, and I hope that the lesson was beneficial to the learner. Thank you very much for being with us. Up next is Nogwazi Dlamini, my colleague, with the next Form 5 subject teachers, and she is going to be presenting.
Ngibona ngulezi inkosi indvuna yetempilo. Lamuhla ngiyachubeka ngkusata sive ukuthi sigeze tandla ngemanti lahlobile nesipho. Noma ngiyiphi isipho lekhona ekhaya. Geza tandla takho. Ngisho ukuthi tandla takho utigeza yonke indzawo. Basuke tandla bese uthatha lolo suka ngako uvale inkomo. Kuhloba kwami impilo yami. Siyabonga. Bonana, buyena nigeze tandla sitokudla.
Okay, Mage. Thabo sebenzisa insipho. Angeke usebenzise amantofu.
Tandla tami tide umhlaba musinolwazi.
Kuthi tandla takho tide umhlaba kusho ukuthi akukangcola. Kumele tandla sitigeze njalo ngensipho nemanti lahamba isikhathi lesingaka 20 seconds njengoba wasifundisa teacher. Khona kutowesuka kungcola nemagciwane labangakugula.
Thabo, lalela sisi wakho phela Shiva. Kumqoka ukuthi tandla utigeze ngensipho kanye nemanti lahlobile isikhathi lesingaka 20 seconds. Mawutokudla, mawuqeda kusebenzisa umthoyi, mawuqeda kutsinza tilwane. Noma mawuqeda kushinjela nabukeni. Kumele futhi sihlande imithoyi netindzawo lesikude ngalokubulala emagciwane.
Sekusikhathi geza tandla, geza tandla, geza tandla emagciwane akana chance geza tandla manje. Thele manje ufake insipho yonke indzawo bese uyakata ngemanti bese uyatisula.
Sanibonani.
Sawubuyile baba.
Indzaba ndingethelwa nguVictor Slow. Lo mhla sidawuva kabanti ngesifo se-COVID-19. I-COVID-19 sifo lesibangwa ligciwane le-corona. Lesifo sendluliseka ngekuthi emathe laphuma emlonyeni walonaso nakakhohlela noma akhuluma awele tintfweni leti kuleyo ndzawo. Bese loyo longanaso utsinza leto tintfo ngetandla aphinza atsinze emehlo, impumulo noma umlomo. Tindlela ke tekunciphisa amathuba ekuthi uthole lesifo se-COVID-19 noma ekusanzisa. Ungalandzela natinyathelo. Geza tandla ngensipho nemanti lahlobile noma usebenzise isanitizer. Tsimula noma ukhwehlelele ngekhatsi kwengcoza loyigobile noma usebenzise liphepha lekufinya. Lelo phepha ubese ulilahla emgqonyeni. Gwema kutsinza emehlo, impumulo nemlomo ngetandla longakatigezi. Gcina sikhala lesinganga 1 meter emkhatsini wakho nalabanye bantfu. Natsa njalo emanti lahlobile utawugcina umtimba wakho ungiloshukumako. Mawutiva ngathi awusiye lophilile, kumbe uyakhohlela, uyashisa noma uphefumula kalukhuni, shayela inombolo lethi 977. Khumbula, hlala uphephile, hlala ekhaya.
Ngiyethemba niyeva ukuthi basicwayisa bathini boShiba. Kumqoka kakhulu ukuthi silandzele tonke letinyathelo kude singatholi futhi singasanzisi lesifo se-COVID-19. Futhi kumele sihlale ekhaya kuze siphephe, niyeva kambe?
Yebo babe.
Welcome back to our viewers. You are still tuned in to Eswatini TV and this is Home Study. I am Nobazil Dlamini and this time we are doing Form 5 English Language and we already have the Form 5 English Language teacher, Mrs. Bonsiwe Mhluli. Also joining me in the studio are our sign language interpreters, Nombumelelo Hadebe and Zanele Mota. Bonsiwe, how are you doing this afternoon?
Okay, Nogwazi, how are you?
I'm doing really, really well at the moment. I understand that today we're doing summary writing.
Yes, okay.
What do you want your learners to have learned by the end of this lesson?
Okay, by the end of the lesson, my learners should be able to define a summary. They should be able to note the key elements of summarizing and as well as write a summary.
All right, okay, from fives, I hope that you are ready for your summary writing lesson. And I hope I will remind the Form 5s actually that we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you have any questions from 5s, feel free to use our WhatsApp number. Bonsiwe, I'll let you start with your lesson.
Okay, thank you so much, Nogwazi. My dear learner, as I have highlighted that we are going to be focusing on summary today, I want us to quickly get to the point right now on what a summary is. Okay, a summary, this is basically a reminder. A summary is, of course, a short version of a passage or a text in as few words as possible. Okay, and a summary again is directed writing, since you are told what to summarize exactly. So you are not just summarizing the whole text per se, but specific aspects as demanded by the question. So this makes me to emphasize on the aspect of question analysis. The minute you get the question, please make sure that you understand the question so that you may be able to respond accordingly to the question. Okay, in this exercise again, you are given a test, which might either be in one aspect or in two aspects, and we shall going to look into that shortly. And a summary again is about 100 words and 120 words and carries 10 marks, of which 6 of those marks are reserved for content and 4 of them are for language. That is the style and accuracy of your language. So now we said we are going to look as well as to the key elements of summarizing. When you are given this task to do, what is it that you are expected to do? Well, first on my list is reading the text. You read the text to get an idea or a glimpse of what the text is basically about. And secondly, you then go to the question. Okay, now when you go to the question, you ensure that you underline the keywords. We have been focusing on keywords on our previous lessons, how important it is for you, my dear learner, to note the keywords as well as underlining them. So you must ensure, my dear learner, that you understand the task at hand. What is it that you are basically expected to do once you have read the question? Still on that, I have mentioned earlier on that the question might come in one or two aspects. Let us take a look at an example of that. Number one, my dear learner, is write a summary about why teenagers indulge in alcohol drinking. This question is in one aspect because I want us to note the difference between the two. This one is in one aspect. So now we have this why word, which means you need to explain or to give examples, to give reasons why teenagers indulge in alcohol drinking. And I have also underlined, my dear learner, these teenagers here. Why have I underlined teenagers? Teenagers is also key because as you write, you need to ensure that you are not just giving reasons why anybody is indulging in alcohol, but you must focus on the teenagers, because you might find that as you are reading the text, you are also given another group which might also be indulging in alcohol. Maybe they may give you reasons why adults or maybe parents indulge in alcohol. Maybe the male parent
Okay, no offense to our male counterparts, but it's just an example why they indulge in alcohol. So your focus here should not be on any other group, but it should be on teenagers. That is why I have underlined that as well, because it is also key. That is the question which demands you to write in one aspect. And then number 2, it's an example of a question that demands you to focus on 2 aspects. Okay, this one here reads, write a summary describing the benefits of cycling. And okay, let me circle that one, my dear Lena, or maybe even highlight it. Okay, so now you are not focusing on only one aspect as you were doing in the previous example that we are making, but it is 2 aspects. I usually advise my dear my learners to always ensure that they underline or they circle the end. Why? Because this will remind them that they are focusing on 2 aspects. So remember that, my dear learner, that if it is 2 aspects, you need to deal with both the aspect. Aspect number 1 here is asking you to describe the benefits of cycling, which means you need to tackle that. And the other aspect, of course, demands you to state or to give precautions on the safety measures. What is it that you can do to be safe as you are cycling? So this one is in 2 aspects. So now moving on, in the latter, you need to ensure that you strike a balance in your response. Latter meaning the previous example I have just given you, which comes in 2 aspects. So you need to ensure that you strike a balance as you give your responses. What does that mean? I basically mean that you need to ensure that you have at least 3 points. Remember earlier on we had said our summary contains 6 marks for language. So now if we have 2 aspects in this question, it means the marks are split into half. You are given 3 marks is reserved for the first aspect and the other 3 marks is reserved for the second aspect. So make sure then, my dear learner, that as you respond, you give at least 3 points for the one aspect and another 3 points for the other aspect on the other side. And that is not to mean, of course, that you should limit yourself. So ensure that you write as many points as you can identify that respond to the question, because one can never be too sure that the responses that you give are all correct. So that is why you are advised to give as many points as you can identify. So don't limit yourself to the 6 that maybe are required. Of course, you are always going to be given more than the 6 points that are required from you. So as long as you are able to identify those points, please ensure that you include them in your response. And remember, of course, that if the question is in 2 aspects, you attend to both aspects. Okay, yes, Lerato?
It's actually Nogwazi, but I understand. No, it's fine. Could we please take a break, just maybe a water break?
Okay.
Yeah, viewers will be right back after this.
Nine bekunene. Live laseswatini liyatimbazakanya nemkhankaso welitiko letempilo namhlabuhlangene i-World Health Organization wekugcina tandla tihlantekile ngaso sonke isikhathi kuvikela kulomkhuhlane lokhona we-corona virus. Tiningi ke tindlela longatisebentisa kutivikela kuleli gciwane le-corona virus. Yinye yato lencomekako ukuthi uyisebenzise ngaso sonke isikhathi kugeza tandla ngemanti lahlobile lahambako uphinze usebenzise insipho ngaso sonke isikhathi. Uthathe isikhathi lesinganga 20 seconds kuya ku 40 seconds solo utigezisisa letandla, noma ke usebenzise isanitizer nangabe emanti angekho dutane nawe. Litiko letempilo likanye namhlabuhlangene liluleka kakhulu sive ukuthi silandzele nati tinyathelo kuze kuthi tandla tihlale tigcinekile tihlobile ngaso sonke isikhathi. Kumele umandise tandla takho ngemanti lahambako, ushikishe insipho etandleni takho. Yenda siciniseko sekuthi ushikisha totimbili tandla ngalokwanele. Sandla sekudla sishikishe ngetulu kwesandla sesenxele. Naso sesenxele sishikishe sandla sesekudla. Utisebenzise totimbili tandla kuze kuthi ugezeke kahle ngalokuphelele. Ushikishe insipho emkhathini weminwe yakho netandla totimbili. Uchubeke ushikishe ngemuva kweminwe yakho kuto totimbili tandla. Chubeka ushikishe tithupha totimbili shengathi uyatishwila. Usebenzise iminwe yakho lesonzelene. Shikisha sandla emkhathini. Kubomake noma ke labo labanetingalo letinze kufanele bashikishe letingalo kuze kuthi emagciwane langabe ahleti khona nawo akhone kugezeka kahle ngalokuphelele. Utiyakade tandla ngemanti lahambako, tesule tome tandla ngethishu noma ke ngendvangu lehlobile. Uphinze usebenzise ithishu noma indvangu kuvala impompi. Yenda siqiniseko sekulahla ithishu enzaweni lapho ingeke kube lula khona ukuthi umuntu ayithinze. Nawe ungahlala unetandla letihlobile njalo njalo. Nginxusa onke emaswati ukuthi asukumele etulu. Sihlanganyele kulomkhankaso wekugcina tandla tihlantekile kuze kuthi sitawuvikela lesifo singasingeni kalula sisive. Siphinze sikhutsate bekunene ukuthi nebantwana labancane basitakale basitwe ngilabadzala ukuthi bagezisise tandla tabo tihlale tihlobile. Lokho kube ngumsebenzi wabo labadzala ukuhlala bahlobise abantwana babagezisise tandla kuze kuthi kungabi lula ukuthi bantwana bangenwe ngulomkhuhlane we-coronavirus. Kuhloba kwami yimpilo yami. Siyabonga.
Welcome back to our viewers. You are still tuned into Eswatini TV and this is Home Study, and we are still doing Form 5 English language with Bonisiwe Mhluli. Bonisiwe, I'll let you carry on with your lesson.
Okay, thank you so much, Nogwazi. My dear learner, before the break, we are trying to emphasize on the summary question, which usually comes in two aspects, and we're actually saying that you need to strike a balance in your responses, as we have highlighted that it comes in 6 marks. So you must be able to split your points so that you at least have 3 points on the one aspect and 3 points, at least 3 points as well on the other aspect. And I was reminding you, my dear learner, that much as you should try to have at least 6 points, you are not limited to the 6 points because you are always going to be given more than the 6 points that are required of you. So ensure that you give as many points as you are able to identify from the text. Okay, moving on, but still on the same aspect, we are saying now, if the question again appears in 2 aspects, you must show the change or the shift from one aspect to the next. I will use our example once again, where you are describing the benefits of cycling and how to ensure safety. Now we are saying you should show the shift or the change from one aspect to another aspect to show that as a learner you are organized in your writing. So now, first of all, I am sure you are going to first deal with the benefits of cycling. You try and highlight on them. You give us all the points that you have on the benefits of cycling. Then, now when you want to focus on the other aspect, which is on how to ensure safety, you must then show the change or the shift into that aspect. I will make an example. I have an example here. In as much as cycling is beneficial, one needs to consider safety precautions as well. So now I am showing the change. I am showing the shift from this one aspect and to the next aspect, preparing whoever is reading that now I have dealt with the benefits of cycling, I have exhausted them, and now I am moving on to the other aspect, which is now touching on the precautions or the safety measures that I have been asked to tackle as well. So you show the shift, my dear learner, so that your work can be orderly. Okay, then now moving on, we are still on the elements of summarizing. What do you consider? First of all, remember we said you read the text, you read the question, understand the demand of the task at hand, and then after reading the question, my dear learner, you go back to the text or to the passage for your second reading. Now, as I have been advising in the previous lessons, that you always have a pen and a pencil in your hand so that you may make those small explanatory notes for yourself. You underline where you need to underline, a process we referred to as annotation in our previous lessons. So now, first reading was for getting an idea. Now you are going for the second idea, where this time around with your pencil or your pen, you underline what? The relevant points which you believe answer the question. The question which you have already read. The question which now is at the back of your mind. You underline the points which you believe answer the question. And you can even code the points, especially if it is in two aspects. I want to emphasize on the question with two aspects, because usually most of our learners are let down on that aspect, because you find that most of the time they focus on one aspect and ignoring the other. So now, on top of underlining the points, my dear learner, we advise that you even code those points as you underline them. What do I mean by that? If maybe, for example, I can take you back to our previous slides. We said, okay, you are coding. We are talking about the benefits of cycling, and we are talking about the safety measures. So if I say you code, then you write a small letter on top of the point which you have underlined. So under benefits, you may write a B on top of that point which you believe responds to the benefits of cycling. And if you come across a point that deals with the safety measures or precautions, then you write an S, my dear learner. That is what I mean by coding. This actually makes your work so much easier when you get to the actual summary writing. It will make you move in a fast pace and making things easier for you. So you are not only underlining, but you are also coding the points as you try and identify them. Then, following that, we are saying you present your points in what? In full sentences, in a form of a paragraph, that is continuous form. So a paragraph is usually a summary is usually one paragraph. Even if the question comes in two aspects, you are going to condense the information in just one paragraph in continuous form. So my dear learner, you are advised to avoid listing your points like a shopping list. Okay, so since you'll be reading from one paragraph to the next, your points, my dear learner, are likely to come in a chronological order, which brings about cohesion in your work and enabling a smooth flow from one point or sentence to the next. So it makes your work to be quite orderly. Then there is this instruction which I want to draw your attention to as well. When they've given you the question, they say use your own words as far as possible. What does this mean? This basically means that you can employ the use of synonyms as well as connectives or linking words. What is a synonym? Maybe one may be asking himself or herself. A synonym is a word that actually has the same meaning as the other one. So you may also use connectives or linking words where possible. Where possible, my dear learner. It is not a must. You are not compelled. So where possible, if it is not possible for you, then I would rather advise you to use the original words of the author. Okay, because you find that at times we try to use our own words, substitute words with some synonyms, only to find that it distorts the original meaning of the text. So that is why I wanted to emphasize on them as far as possible, which means where you can, wherever it is possible, you are not compelled. So you use those linking words, some of them including in addition, including however, including consequently. You may also employ and, etc. There are so many of them, my dear learner. And continuing with that, if you use a synonym, my dear learner, ensure, let me underline that, ensure that it suits the context, as you might be well aware that language is contextual. Okay, so this means the synonym, if you happen to use it, it should have the same effect as was intended by the original text. So you ensure that whichever synonym you use, it must not divert from what the original text intended to mean. Okay, then again, my dear learner, you are expected to use language accurately. That will include the use of spelling. Remember that in this type of an exercise, spelling errors are never forgiven. And there's a reason for that, because you are always given the correct spelling of the words from the text that you would be reading from. So that is why you are not expected to make an error in your presentation of the spelling. So never become creative on the spelling part, because it might make you to lose marks. That is the language mark. So you also mind your punctuation, know when to place full stops, know when to place capital letters, commas, etc. Also mind your use of conjunctions, prepositions, subject-verb agreement, And learners usually have a problem with subject-verb agreement. Please ensure that you mind that as you present your work, okay? I'm sure we are all well aware that in a language we have 3 persons. Most of us usually have a problem with the third person singular, especially where you have to add an es on the verb that you are using. So please ensure, my dear learner, that especially if it is third person singular, you always add an s or an es so that there is an agreement between the subject and the verb. Okay, then once again, my dear learner, we are saying be straight to the point. So you refrain from using examples, you refrain from using elaborations, direct speech, repetition. There is no place for that in the summary. They are only given to you from the text to make things clearer for you. But when you write a summary, because that is a short version of the text, as we have said, you are not allowed to use examples, elaborations, etc. Then finally, my dear learner, we are saying proofread your work. This is one aspect that most learners ignore, yet it is very important, okay? Since it ensures that you eliminate minor mistakes that you might make as you present your summary. So ensure that you allow yourself a few minutes after writing the summary to proofreading your work. Even experienced writers do make mistakes. So ensure that you do that proofreading part, my dear learner. Then we also said that we are going to write a summary. Okay, my dear learner, I will go back to the question that we have been making an example with. Okay, there's a question here in front of me. Write a summary describing, let me underline, these are our keywords. Write the summary describing the benefits of cycling. May I underline this end once again to remind you that as you present your work, you ensure that you attend to both aspects of the question. So the one aspect of the question, you are describing the benefits of cycling. And the other aspect, my dear learner, you are asked to show how you can ensure safety in this sport. Okay, so always underline the end. And as you write your summary, please keep checking the question to ensure that you are still in line with what you are expected to write from the summary question. Okay, here, because of the environment, I couldn't bring the whole text to be read here, but I tried to select the few points which you should have underlined as you were reading the text yourself. I have point number 1 here, which I picked, I think it was the second paragraph, if I am not mistaken. Okay, point number 2, it says it is beneficial as it is low impact. I have underlined the low impact, of course, here, because it is the point that I am looking for. We have said you can even code your responses. So this is a benefit. I may write my small b. I hope you can see. It's a B, okay, to show that it is a benefit. Then it is beneficial as it is low impact, which gives respite from impact exercises. So in this point, you are selecting and you are organizing. So this is the point as it appeared from the text. It is the whole point. But do I need all this information, or do I need all this sentence? No. because here we are focusing on the skill of condensing information. We are trying to summarize the words in as few words as possible. So I don't need all this sentence, much as I have underlined it, but I don't need all of it. I only need this aspect, okay? It is low impact. But when I take a look at this point that I want to use, I can tell that it is actually very brief. Then I move on to the next aspect. Now I am just underlining the points. I have not started writing the summary. I am just trying to organize myself. These are the points that I am able to identify. I am underlining them. So I also have point number 2. I think it was in the 3rd paragraph of the text on this. Point number 2 says, one sure thing to happen if you take up cycling is the reduction of body fat. Okay, now again, this is the aspect that I need, the reduction of body fat. So looking at my points here, I can actually try and combine these 2 points in one sentence. That is another strategy. It counts under style. Remember, we said there are 6 marks for content and there are 4 marks for language, which is style and accuracy, the style of presenting your work. So now I am not just going to write these small brief sentences. If there is a way that I can try to combine the points, then I make use of them. This counts for your language mark. So if we may take a look at them. First point, now we are writing the summary. We have been asked to describe the benefits of cycling. This is my point number 1. Remember, this is the combination of 2 points. So it appears like this. Cycling is low impact and remember there was no end. There was no end in our previous sentence since it was 2 sentences or 2 points. But now I have decided to add this end, which now enables me to combine these 2 points. Okay, so it is low impact and it also reduces body fat. I don't know if you can be able to see clearly here. I have underlined the S there in reduce. I have added the S because now we are referring to one thing. It is cycling. So it is going to be reduces. Okay, there was no end. That is a plus on your language mark. And again, moving to point number 2, I am going to try and make a quick summary on that one. On point number 3, I have this point here, number 3. You are sure to develop a well-toned body. And in my summary, I have added furthermore. Furthermore was not there, but I am trying to connect my points so that they flow smoothly in their writing, in your writing. So furthermore, it develops a well-toned body. Then again, my dear learner, in our point previously, there is this one long sentence, but I only need this last point. So going back to our summary writing, I add that another benefit, another, you will remember, was not there. This is just a sequencing connective which enables me to write smoothly and to make my summary to flow. Another benefit is that it builds up stamina. So this again is a plus on your language mark. Let me end with this, my dear learner. We had said earlier on that you must also mark the shift or the change from one aspect to the next. So now let's say I am done with the benefits of cycling. Now I want to tackle the other aspect, which is on the safety measures. So this is my sentence. In as much as cycling is beneficial, safety precautions must be considered. Okay, there were no precautions there. I have added the precautions because they said safety measures. So now I have added this, which adds to my language mark. My dear Lena, I'm afraid our lesson must end here for today. I hope you were able to get something from our lesson. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Bonisiwe. That was a very interesting lesson, and we are hoping to see you again for another English language lesson.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. From Fives, please do not go anywhere. Up next is the religious education with Mbumelelo Dlamini. I'll be right back with you after this.
Itolo sike sahlaselwa sifo se-HIV and AIDS. Laba kubita ngemagama lamanengi umbulalave, labanye bathi lugola, labanye babita ngalolu bizo. Sachitha isikhathi sikhuluma ngokuthi kuyini lokho. Kwabulala sive leyo nto leyo nalamhla lokho asikaphumi kulobo bulukhuni lobo. Ngitsike namhlanje bekungaba kuhle ukuthi eMaswati acabange ukuthi siphumaphi lobuhlungu lebisuka kubo naloku lesesingena kuko nyalo tingakapholi tilonza tayitolo. Na ukuhlanganisa kokubili lokho utacabanga umuntu ngamunye ukuthi na ungabuka lele sikubonile itolo nasitawehlula lenzaba ye-AIDS sithi inkosi ithi inzaba yethu sonke asiphume sibambe nalamuhla singakunqoba lokho sisebenzise nathi into lesitibona intolo leti sente saphumelela kulwana nalegciwane naleli singalinqoba naku lokufunekako nguwe lokufanele uticabangele ukuthi ufuna kuphila yini noma ufuna kwentani ngalesikhathi nguwe lokufanele usukume uticabangele ukuthi ufuna kwentekene esihlotsheni sakho nguwe lokufanele usukume ucabange ukuthi ufuna kwentekene emangweni lophila kuwo nguwe lofuneka usukume ubuke ukuthi yini lofuna yenteke kubantu losebenta nawo nguwe lokufanele usukume ucabange ukuthi yini lofuna kukwenta ukuze lesive seMaswati siphile longakwenta kulalela tinkulumo leti takuphephisa letinengi tato atidzingi namali tifuna nje wena wedwa futhi uthi lamuhla ngitawusukuma ngente konke lokusemandleni ngilwe negciwane le-COVID-19 ngoba litawubulala sive.
Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane le-corona.
Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Wash hands now. Hand washing is one of the best ways to keep from getting sick and staying healthy all year long.
COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. Let's dance together. Join hands. Fight against Corona. Let's dance together. Join hands. Fight against Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona.
Maswati, let's fight COVID-19 by making a meter away from each other.
COVID-19 Corona.
Wash your hands with soap and running water frequently to
prevent COVID-19.
Avoid touching eyes, nose, mouth, shaking hands to prevent COVID-19. Are you coughing? Are you sneezing? Or having headache? Make sure that you quickly go to the hospital. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact
Welcome back to our viewers. You are still tuned in to Eswatini TV and this is Home Study. I am Nogwazi Dlamini if you have just joined us, and right now we are doing Form 5 Religious Education with Mpumelelo Dlamini. Also joining me in the studio are our sign language interpreters Linda Mamba and Tobile Fagutse. Mpumelelo, how are you this afternoon?
I am very well, thank you. How are you, Nogwazi?
I'm good. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I understand that today we are doing the healing of the lame man and the second sermon.
Yes.
All right, so what are you expecting your students to have learned by the end of this lesson?
Oh, okay. So now, afternoon once again. As Nogwazi has introduced me, I am Mpumelelo Dlamini, and the topic is healing of the lame man. So please bring your Bibles, RSV. Please keep them opened in chapter 3, verses 1 to 26.
Okay.
And the rationale for today's lesson is for you, my dear learner, to understand the importance and the power of the Holy Spirit, which means that in today's session, we are going to see the Holy Spirit at work, obviously, through the apostles. But before I preempt my lesson, let us look at our objectives for the day. So now, our objectives for the day are as follows. We have 5 objectives. The first one, you need to give an account of the healing of the lame man. 2, you need to outline Peter's second sermon. 3, explain the significance of the healing of the lame man. 4, explain lessons drawn from the healing of the lame man. And finally, explain lessons drawn from Peter's sermon. So those are our objectives for the day. So now we need to proceed to our next slide. But Nogwazi has a question.
Sorry, Mpumelelo, can we take a bit of a water break? We'll be right back just after this.
Hi viewers at home, my name is Professor Shabang. I am the presenter for your favorite health program, Better Health, Better Life. Thank you viewers at home for the calls and the messages, and thank you Eswatini TV for the great platform. Better Health, Better Life Season 4 is coming bigger and better. And now you have a chance to participate by sending a video of your view prior to the next program. On that note, we are appealing to all Emaswati. Please stay at home, stop the spread so that we can save lives.
Welcome back to our viewers. What a lovely water break we have just had. Nombomelelo, without wasting any time, I'll let you carry on with your lesson.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Nogwazi. So now we are going to be looking at the account, which means that we are looking at the story itself. We are talking about, remember, the healing of the lame man. So now, my dear Form 5, please keep your Bibles opened in Acts chapter 3, verses 1 to 10. So that is where we get our account. So it goes as follows. It was the 9th hour, and the 9th hour was an hour of prayer. Peter and John were going to the temple to observe the 9th hour. So now, a lame man from birth was taken or carried to the temple every day. He was carried to the beautiful gate, to be specific, and to ask for alms from the worshippers. So when these lame men saw Peter and John approaching, he expected them to give him something. So he asked them to give him alms. And Peter and John said, "Look at us." And the lame men looked at them, expecting to receive something. But what happened was, Peter continued to say, "Silver and gold I do not have, but I will give you what I have. In the name of Jesus, walk." And Peter took a lame man by his right hand, and immediately the ankles and the feet of the lame man became strong, and the lame man leaped with joy and entered the temple. The people were astounded when they saw that the lame man now could walk. So that is the end of our account. So now let us look at the significance now. The importance, when we are talking about significance, we're talking about the importance. We are looking at the importance of the healing of the lame man. Firstly, it is that it is proof of the presence of the Holy Spirit. It's proof of the presence of the Holy Spirit. So now, the gift of healing is one of the gifts that is bestowed by the Holy Spirit. You will remember that on the day of Pentecost, the Holy Spirit gave the disciples the gift to speak in tongues. So again, the mere fact that they were able to heal this man was a sign that the Holy Spirit was with them. And then again, it was to confirm that Jesus is the author of life. So now, when Peter was healing this man, he said, "In the name of Jesus, walk," which shows that the author of life is Jesus. He did not call any other name, but he called the name of Jesus, which shows that Jesus is actually the author of life. And then again, another importance is that it drew the people to the church. This miracle made the church to be appealing to the people or to the Jews. Now, my dear Form 5, you will remember that the church began with only 120 believers. When Jesus ascended into heaven, there were only 120 believers. On the day of Pentecost, then, the believers increased to 3,000. And today, you're going to see that the believers increased to 5,000. So now, this miracle actually helped the church to grow. A quick reminder, my dear Form 5, when we're talking of church, we are not talking about a denomination. We are not talking about the Roman Catholic Church or the Anglican, but we are talking about all the people that believed in the teachings and the life, the ministry, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus. So now that's the church in this context. So let us move forward, my dear learners. Lessons drawn or lessons learned from the healing of the lame man. So our very first lesson is that faith is important. This lame man was healed because Peter had faith that he would be able to heal this man. So, because it is a lesson, we too, as human beings, are expected to have faith. Faith will make things happen. So, my dear Form 5, have faith that you're going to get an A star in RE. Now, another lesson is that prayer is important. Peter and John were going to the temple to observe the hour of prayer, which was the 9th hour. And God strategically placed that lame man at the beautiful gate so that the prayers of Peter and John would then do what? Would then make it possible for them to heal the lame man. Another lesson learned is that material things really are not that important. How do we see that? Where we see it when Peter says, "Silver and gold I do not have, but I will give you what I have." Peter gave the lame man something valuable, something more important than the money that the other worshippers were giving to this lame man. He gave the lame man health. And we actually see that after receiving his health, this lame man leaped with joy and actually entered the temple. So those are our lessons, my dear Form 5. Now, let us look at Peter's second sermon. Now, my dear Form 5, you will remember that last week, Friday, your beautiful, beautiful teacher explained to you the first sermon of Peter. He delivered that sermon when the Jews thought that they were drunk because they were speaking in tongues. So now, the second sermon, my lovely Form 5, is similar to the first sermon. So we are not going to delve much on this second sermon. So why then did Peter deliver this second sermon if it is not important, or not important, if it is not important? Now, Peter delivered the second sermon because, one, he wanted to make sure that the people did not treat them as gods. Now, in verses 11, if you look at verses 11, you will see that now, when after the healing of this lame man, the people then did what? They ran to Solomon's portico to listen to Peter and John. Now they started treating them as demigods. So Peter wanted to correct that misconception. In the first sermon, he wanted to explain that they were not drunk. So now, let us look at what? At the contents of the second sermon. So, our second sermon contains the life, suffering, and the death of Jesus Christ. It also contains the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It contains the messianic promise, and lastly, it contains a call to repentance. I am sure, my dear Form 5, that you can actually see that these two sermons are similar. There is nothing much about different between the first sermon and the second sermon. The only difference is that this one was delivered in the 9th hour, yet the first sermon was delivered in the 3rd hour. This one, it was because they were treating them as gods, and the first one, it was because they were saying they were drunk. But the contents, my dear Form 5, are similar. And please make sure that you read the verses 11 up to verses 26, the very same chapter. So now, let us look at characterization. Remember, my lovely Form 5, when we are talking about characterization, we are talking about the people or the characters that we find in the story. So we have about 3 characters. We have Peter, we have the lame man, and we have the crowd. So now, what kind of a man is Peter? Peter was very, very bold. He was a bold man. Why do we say Peter was bold? You will remember that in our second sermon, that is where his boldness is glaring. It is out there. You can actually pinpoint it. Now, when he was addressing the crowd, he didn't beat about the bush. His sermon was not meant to stroke their egos, but he stated the facts as they were. He reminded them that they killed Jesus. He reminded them that they knew the Mosaic law. He reminded them that Moses made a prophecy that God will raise a prophet like myself. Make sure that you listen to him. But you, fellow Jews, failed to recognize Jesus as the Messiah that Moses was talking about. And you also did not listen to him. And finally, you had this Jesus killed. So now, it took someone with guts to actually do that. So he was very, very bold. And then again, Peter is someone who is prayerful. We say he is prayerful because he was going to the temple to observe the 9th hour, which was the hour of prayer. And then again, Peter is someone who is humble. Why do we say he is humble? It is a known fact that when someone strokes your ego, when someone applauds you, it goes without saying that you become happy and you want all the glory to be yours. But what Peter did in this instance was he corrected their misconception. He told them that no. This glory does not belong to me, but the glory belongs to God, because this man was not healed by my own piety or doing, but it was through the power of God. So that takes someone who is very, very humble. It needs you. It requires you to be someone who is humble. I mean, probably I was going to take that glory because these people would be applauding me. But Peter, being Peter and humble, he said the glory belongs to God. And then again, Peter is someone who is compassionate. He is compassionate because he gave this man the greatest gift, the gift of health, even though he did not have money or any material things. But he was moved and he gave this man his health, and this man finally entered the temple. So now let us look at the lame man. Now, the lame man is very materialistic. This man was lame from birth. But this man had a home. People carried him from home to the beautiful gate all his life. But not even once was this man taken inside the temple. He could have easily asked the people who placed him in the beautiful gate to take him inside the church. But all he cared about were the alms where they give him 2 denarii or 1 denarii. No one knows how much he was given. And then again, the worshippers could have taken this man inside the church. But this man, it goes without saying that he never asked the worshippers to take him inside the church. All he wanted from them were alms. If the worshippers were able to give him money, it goes without saying that they would easily have taken him inside the temple. So now that is why we say this man was materialistic. So now let us look at our crowd, the crowd that Peter was addressing. So now this crowd was naive. Why do we say this crowd was naive? Look at the reaction of this crowd. They went to the temple to worship God. But, let us go back just a bit. Jews believed that the temple was the dwelling place of God. But when this man was healed, now for one reason or another, they sort of forgot that it was the power of this God that they were worshipping. Now they wanted to give the glory to a mere human being. They wanted to give the glory to Peter, who is a human being. Now they wanted to idolize Peter. So now that is a sign of being naive. Let us move on, my dear learners. So now we are done with our lesson for the day. So let us discuss our assessment. I love this assessment, but a majority of you learners at home, I know you have a problem with this assessment. So now, our assessment is a source-based question. So our source-based question contains 3 parts questions. There's A, Roman figure 1, A, Roman figure 2, and B. My dear Form 5, you are supposed to use this source in all your questions. We are going to see the questions very soon. But for now, I want us to read the instructions together. It says study, and under study, I want you to write 1. Study the source below and answer. I want you to write 2 under answer and answer the questions that follow. So now, before we even look at our questions, let us study our source. Now, our source, there's what? There is healing of the lame man. Miss Dlamini was talking about what? The healing of the lame man. So we know the characters that are in this story. So now, let us study our source. We can say that this one is the lame man. Automatically, this one we can say this is Peter. We can then say this one is our John, which means this is what? This is our temple. And this is what? This is our beautiful gate. So my dear Form 5, now you have actually done what? Studied the source. Now you can proceed to what? To our second part of the instruction. Let us answer now the questions. Our very first question says, give an account. Give an account. Remember, I said an account is what? It is the story. Give an account of the event in the source above. Now, you already have the source above. The source above is what, my dear Form 5? The healing of the lame man. Miss Dlamini is saying to you, dear Form 5, you need to incorporate or to use the source or to include the source in your answer. Manipulate the source in your answer. In order for you to get a 6/6, you need to do what? To manipulate the source. Now, something very important. When you are answering source-based questions, you will use your pre-knowledge. Miss Dlamini gave you the story. It's found in verses 1. It's chapter 3. Remember, chapter 3, verses 1 to 10. That is our story. Now, from verses 1 up to verses 10, it is not all the points whereby you can manipulate the source. Some of the points would not allow you to manipulate the source. You just need 1 point, my dear Form 5. Manipulate the source in 1 point. So now let us look at our answers. Now our answer says, Peter took him by the right hand as it can be seen in the picture, Peter extending his right hand to lift the lame man. Now, let us go back to our source and actually verify if Ms. Dlamini is right by saying in the source we can actually see Peter extending his right hand to lift this lame man. So let us go back. Here is our source. We said that the one in gold or yellow is our Peter, and we can actually see his right hand. It is extended to who? To this lame man. So now it means that Ms. Dlamini has actually used the source correctly. Let us look at Roman figure 2 now. Roman figure 2 says, explain 3 reasons why the event in the source is important. Explain 3 reasons why the event in the source is important. Again, it is 6 marks. Ms. Dlamini, once again, is saying, manipulate the source in your answer. Include the source, my dear Form 5, in your answer. Once again, you just need 1 point. You need to include your source in just 1 point and include it very, very well. Now, let us look at Ms. Dlamini's point. Dear Form 5, I did not write the whole essay. I just gave you 1 point where I manipulated a source. Remember, your question says explain 3, and Ms. Dlamini has only explained just 1 as an example, my dear Form 5. So we are saying that it is important because it proves the presence of the Holy Spirit. So now this is just our point. How then do we manipulate the source? We are supposed to say the gift of healing is one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Now, Ms. Dlamini forgot to include the source in her answer, but she was supposed to say, as it can be seen in the source above, that Peter and John are not carrying anything, which means that they were able to heal this man because they were filled with the Holy Spirit. So now Ms. Dlamini has actually manipulated the source in her Roman figure 2. So let us look at our B, the very last question, which is 8 marks. Remember, 1 question is 20 marks. Now we are evaluating. Do you think the event in the source was the work of the Holy Spirit? Obviously, you know that you give reasons to support your answer and you show you have thought about different points of views. So now, in our answer, you are once again, in as much as the question says, do you think? We still expect you, my dear Form 5, to do what? To manipulate the source in your thoughts. Yes, you find a way to manipulate the source. So now let us look at Ms. Dlamini's answer. No, it is not the work of the Holy Spirit, but the prayer and the faith of Peter and John. In the picture above, Peter and John were on their way to observe the hour of prayer, which actually shows that it was not the work of the Holy Spirit, but rather it was the faith and the prayers of Peter and John. I hope you enjoyed my lesson. That's the end of our lesson. Nogwazi?
Thank you very much, Nompumelelo. And your Form 5s don't have any questions, so I'm supposing that they actually enjoyed and understood the lesson. We hope to see you again for another interesting lesson
on Friday. I'm coming back on
All
Friday.
right, then. We'll see you on Friday, Nompumelelo. Form 5s, unfortunately, that was the end of your guys' lesson, and that was the last lesson for the day. Do not go anywhere, viewers. Lerato and me will be right back after this.
When we talk of screening, basically, this is a preventative measure of finding out if there's any problem that may present as a result. So when you screen, you're trying to find out whether it exists or not, the problem. So in our case, the idea of screening is to ensure that everyone does not present with high temperature. So anyone who's presenting with higher temperature than usual is then picked up. And then from then on, you'll then be tested to make sure that you have the virus or not. That is the main difference.
Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kuligciwane le-corona.
Welcome back to our viewers. Unfortunately, that was the last lesson for the day. Lerato, on your side, how has it been this afternoon?
Well, the afternoon has been great. I hope you also enjoyed your afternoon, and I hope that the teachers also enjoyed as well as the students.
I actually enjoyed my afternoon. It was really great despite the pain that I'm feeling on my knee. But it was a great day indeed. Please remind our viewers about tomorrow's timetable.
Well, grade 7s, Form 3s and Form 5s, your timetable is like this for tomorrow. Social Studies from 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m, followed by Mathematics from 2:30 p.m. to 3:08 p.m, followed by Literature and English from 3:08 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. Then for the Form 5 learners, it's Biology from 3:45 p.m. to 4:25 p.m. And then the last subject is Physics from 4:25 p.m. to 5 p.m. So I hope that the grade 7s, Form 3s and the Form 5s are ready for tomorrow's lessons.
Yes, most definitely. And just to remind our viewers that we are live on our Facebook page and on our YouTube page, from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. And if you have any questions, we do have a WhatsApp number that you can ask questions in. Relevant questions, please do not call us. We are not going to answer you. And speaking of YouTube, actually, please subscribe on our YouTube channel so you get notifications of when we are live. Lerato, anything that you want to say before we go?
No. No. Bye to the viewers though.
All right. Okay. From us, from the team as well, it's goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
You are watching Eswatini TV, Sibuko Semaswati.
Angwemukele ngiphindze ngikuvusele mbukele ekhaya. Ehlelweni lapho ngasibuka kakhulu indzaba tenkolo. Lo hlelo mbukele ekhaya sibuka kakhulu utimo nemetingcinamba lesibhekana nato saphila emhlabeni. Lo hlelo mbukele ekhaya likhulumisa kabanti imigomo nemithetho lekhona eBhayibhelini. Mbukele ekhaya lehlelo leli aluhambi lodwa but liyalitimbandzakanye nato kunceku tenkosi sibuke ukuthi kahle kahle lithini liBhayibheli. Mbukele ekhaya lokuvusiya namhlanje nguwephela umlangeni Oscar Dlamini uhlelo luthi lithini libandla. Sinenhlanhla mbukele ekhaya namhla ukuthi sihanjeyo sinayo umbishopi babe Stephen Masilela all the way from Church of God of Prophecy. Fundisi vusila bukele emakhaya.
Sesivusele nenkosi thina nawe siyavusela umbukeli ekhaya egameni laJesu ikakhulukazi sivusele yona indlu ekholwa inkosi Jesu Kristu umsinzisi siyalibonga lithuba Nkosi kuba nawe namuhla.
Amen. Amen mfundisi. Mbukele ekhaya namhla sibe sikhulumisa kabanti indzaba lenkulu kakhulu. Sibuka indzaba etimali mbukele ekhaya. Mbukele ekhaya umnyaka uqalile nyalo sibhizi sibhekalena sifuna timali. Sitabuka doa namuhla. Mfundisi. Sicala nje singena ehlelweni mfundisi. Une live lenkosi lapha encwadzini yetaga 21 verse number 20. Likhuluma igama lithi umuntu lohlakaniphile